The president has kicked Zelensky out of the White House. His delegation right now is telling him that he's got to go home. The president felt disrespected. Officials in the room felt that beyond the language barrier that we've heard some discussion about, Zelensky's body language, shrugging and eye rolling, was ungrateful, disrespectful. And the president feels that Zelensky is not ready for peace, and he can come back when he's ready to talk about peace. But he's not in that position right now, and Zelensky is being told he's got to go. The lunch that they were supposed to have is sitting right outside the hallway, and the press staffers are going to be eating that lunch. This is really pretty incredible. We see the
Jackie,
SUV,
hang on with us
Zelensky's
one moment.
SUV.
If you look to your left, you're going to see him. Let's watch.
Mr. President, is the deal off? President Zelensky, can you tell us what happened?
President Donald Trump slams Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky right to his face, leading him to being kicked out of the White House. And we got a huge revelation from the FBI. In fact, the Bureau is now being questioned for the data suppression of would-be assassin Thomas Crooks. Now, if you guys appreciate these daily updates, please take a second and hit the like button for the video. Thank you so much for subscribing to the channel for the daily updates. Now, guys, we have an exciting update today, guys. So let's get back to this argument that took place inside the Oval Office in the White House, okay? It's pretty clear to many that Ukraine has no leverage. They're in a very tough spot, and the United States is the only country that's really talked about peace. Russia on its end seems to have agreed to the terms pretty quickly. President Vladimir Zelensky, on the other hand, he's under the notion that we owe him something. And it's pretty evident when you hear him talk about how this war is going to affect the United States. But I want to start with this clip where he's asked about him not wearing a suit to the Oval Office. What's up with Zelensky like wearing like super casual clothes all the time? Like, this guy never wears a suit. Has anybody ever seen Vladimir Zelensky wear a suit? He looks like he's about to like go to Home Depot or something. Anyway, I want you guys to look at how VP JD Vance reacts to this. Watch.
My second question for President Zelensky. Why don't you wear a suit? Why don't you wear a suit? You're the highest level in this country's office and you refuse to wear a suit. Just want to see if do you own a suit?
Yeah, problems.
A lot of Americans have problems with you not respecting
I don't have
this
such.
office.
I will wear a costume after this war will finish.
Okay.
Yes, maybe one.
Maybe something like this?
yours. Yes.
That'd be great.
Maybe something better. I don't know. We will see. Maybe something cheaper than. Yeah. Thank you.
We know you're not in the front lines, Mr. President, so this cosplay can end now. It was fun while it lasted, but you're in the United States of America. You're in front of millions of Americans who funded your entire war. Now, here's Vice President JD Vance talking about how they've just thrown bodies at this war with little to no regard to human life, and how Zelensky's words obviously pissed off our president. Watch.
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the president for trying to bring an end to this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine? That you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Come once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems bringing people into your military? And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems, even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless. God bless. You will not have a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that.
That's exactly what you're doing.
You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very good.
You will feel influence.
We're going to feel very good and very strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about it.
From the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having cards. Right now, you don't. You're playing cards. You're playing cards. You're gambling with the lives of millions of people. You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III. And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country.
Hey, by the way, guys, if you're one of the real ones who really enjoy what we do here on the channel, you've got to check out the Inner Circle. This is where our true supporters get exclusive access to content that I just can't share here, completely commercial free. It's also the best way to keep this channel going strong. So if you want to be a part of something special, join us over there. Links in the description or in the pinned comment down below. I want to address what he's trying to say when he says we don't feel this war now. He's alluding to World War III. That's why he got President Trump all riled up, because he basically threatened the United States and the entire world with another global war. I do have to say, though, that the reporters inside the Oval Office have never been this quiet, because these are things that you and I don't normally see. These are arguments that happen behind closed doors. But the Trump administration, they're staying true to their claim that they're the most transparent administration out there. I'll be honest with you guys, I was absolutely shocked and floored. Were you? That, and of course, Zelensky just couldn't admit that they've had almost 1 million of their soldiers killed in this war, which has forced them to get soldiers from wherever else they can, with men being pulled off the streets in order to keep this war going. It's scary to be a Ukrainian right now, to be honest, guys. I really feel bad, serious. And he's asking JD Vance to come to Ukraine when he's probably going to be fed propaganda. Remember when President Joe Biden visited Ukraine and an air raid siren sounded? Now, despite this, both leaders stayed out in the open. So it's either they had guts of steel or they knew for a fact that there was no real attack coming at that time or place. Now, here's what Zelensky said when asked if he owed any of us an apology.
President Trump said after your meeting that you disrespected him and the vice president and all of America in the Oval Office. Do you think you did? And do you think you owe an apology to President Trump?
Thank you so much. First of all, thank you for the invitation for this dialogue, and good evening to all your country, to all Americans. I'm very thankful to Americans for all your support. You did a lot. I'm thankful to President Trump and to Congress bipartisan support. And I was always very thankful from all our people. You helped us a lot from the very beginning during 3 years of full-scale invasion. You helped us to survive. Anyway, we are strategic partners. And even in such tough dialogue, and I think we have to be very honest. And we have to be very direct to understand each other, because it's very, for us, very necessary to President Trump. And I'm with all respect that he wants to finish this war, but nobody wants to finish more than we, because we in Ukraine, we are in this war, we are in this battle, and battle for freedom for our lives. So I'm just telling that I think that we have to be on the same side, and I hope that the president on our side together with us, and that is very important to stop Putin. And I heard from President Trump a lot of times that he will stop the war, and I hope he will, and we need to pressure him with Europe, with all the partners. And I think this dialogue had to be a little bit earlier to understand where we are. Like, you know, I don't remember exactly, but like President Reagan said, that peace is not just an absent the war.
I'm gonna go ahead and cut him off here, because no, he didn't apologize, nor did he recognize that he owed any of us an apology. Now, Zelensky did admit that they can't fight this war without the US. So it would be best for him to work with the White House regarding this minerals deal, right? As well as work with President Trump if peace will ever be realized in Ukraine again. Now, moving on, guys, FBI Director Kash Patel has a lot of work ahead of him. Besides the failed first phase of the Epstein list, Kash Patel now has to look into the first attempt on President Trump's life in Butler, Pennsylvania. Sources have told the New York Post that the FBI has obstructed efforts to solve whatever happened there, and if the suspect, Thomas Matthew Crooks, acted with an accomplice. It's kind of odd how Thomas Matthew Crooks left a zero digital footprint. In this day and age, you would think that there would be at least a speck of it, right? But that doesn't seem to be the case here. It's as if he never existed at all on social media. And given how young that kid was, I mean, that's really unlikely, isn't it? We also haven't gotten any answers from his parents since they sealed themselves away from the world, allegedly only going out for groceries at 3 a.m. in the morning. Now, Doug Hagman, a private investigator from Erie, Pennsylvania, was hired to look into Thomas Crooks by a private client. He told the Post that he believes that a criminal network was operating with Crooks at the time that he shot at President Trump, and that this group, it still exists today. Kind of scary, huh? Now, Hagman, he confirmed that it's plausible that multiple people were handling Crooks in order to get this assassination done, not removing the possibility that there were people at the rally itself helping him out. So this kind of makes sense given that people who attended the rally were literally shouting at police that there was somebody going up on the roof with a rifle, and yet not a whole heck of a lot of action was done. Now, Hagman also said that he was personally escorted to the Butler County line and told to leave twice during the course of their investigations. He claims that the people who told him to leave were either federal agents or some kind of a private security. Now, as you guys know, this was during former President Joe Biden's term, meaning that FBI officials from back then, they were able to access Thomas Crooks' phone. They also had access to his computer and encrypted messaging app in Belgium, New Zealand, and Germany. To date, we haven't been provided with much of any information as to what they found. And then, of course, there's the infamous photo of Thomas Crooks on his phone just before the shooting occurred. Now, we still don't know if he was in contact with anybody using that phone. And Dan Bongino, now our FBI deputy director, he asked before if Thomas Crooks was connected to any FBI agent. These are all questions that the FBI has to answer. And I'm hoping that Director Kash Patel will be more than willing to investigate and provide us with some clarity. But do any of you guys believe that the FBI might be hiding something with this assassination attempt? Now, I want to redirect you to a previous live stream I did where I covered how Democrats continue to attack Elon Musk, even though they agree that wasteful spending is something that needs to be taken care of. Yeah, I don't buy that for a second. Anyway, let me know if you do. But make sure you guys check that out, as one Democratic representative literally gets caught on national television making excuses. Anyway, I appreciate you guys hitting the like button. Thank you so much for subscribing to the channel. We'll see you next time.